Polarity to Unity by Prana to meditate. So, what is this polarity? The science talks about this polarity of right hemisphere of the brain and the left hemisphere of the brain. One is intuitive, emotional, integrative, another is analytical, left side of the brain, the right side of the brain. So our masters had discovered this polarity at energy level. If the science, many scientists don't believe in this polarity and they say that it is not a scientific concept, but others say that yes, it is true, it is a fact. They have tested it. So the science has discovered this polarity at the purely material level, physical, gray matter, that is known as brain. And if we look at the similar concept in Eastern wisdom, so they have discovered this polarity at the energy level. And this energy is known as prana. So don't go into the abstract understanding. Be very clear. If we understand the etymology of prana, we may say it is a life force, but the etymology says prana, the first unit of energy. Another fact to understand, where there is a change, there is prana. So it makes the concept of Eastern wisdom clear. We should not get into a kind of a dogma, no, believe it, and if you don't believe, then nothing will happen. No. The most important thing is where there is a change, there is prana, what you say, the life force. So our masters have extended the presence of this prana not only in living beings but also in non-living beings. Means where there is a change, there is prana. Atom, electron, proton, neutron. Electron is constantly in motion, prana. Gravitational force, prana. Electrical energy, prana. Mechanical energy, prana. Where there is a change, there is prana. So prana has more or less a linear movement in matter, means electron is revolving, that is the way it works. But when the prana meets the life and the mind, we all human beings have a life in the mind. So prana becomes an instrument of mind to carry out our desire through the body. And this prana, because of the mind, in the human frame, works through the polarity. What is polar? North pole, south pole. Polarity means two. Two distinct functions. One prana flows through the right nostril. When prana dominantly flows through the right nostril, we are very assertive. It gives a tremendous energy to the body, the strength, aggression, and when it flows to the left side of the body, it makes the person emotional, kind, compassionate. So when I said that this prana flows through the right nostril, it means it flows dominantly through the right nostril. When I say the prana flows into the left nostril, it flows dominantly through the left nostril. Flow of the prana through its carrier. Now, who is the carrier? Carrier is the breath, the air. So the two sides of the prana, again, the master of the Eastern wisdom had found that when the prana flows either through the right or the left, there is an disequilibrium. Where the disequilibrium is experienced, it is experienced in the mind with lot of conflicts, impurities. What are those impurities? Maybe anger, hesitation, craving, obsession. So great Master Aurobindo says, prana, the desire, is the impurity of prana in the mind. How to remove that impurity? We need not to remove the prana. We have to bring this prana into the state of equilibrium. So what is that equilibrium? When the prana flows equally without interruption through both the nostrils, that is also the Brahmuhurta, that is also the auspicious movement. And that balances the right and the left brain too. And that is the ideal time to meditate. So those people, those seekers, those students who cannot directly meditate through the mind, they have to come down to a lower level of the prana, they have to balance it, and they can experience that very balance. Because the breath starts flowing equally through both the nostrils. At that time, the mind starts rising up. In fact, both the mind and the prana, both starts rising up. Symbolically, from the tailbone, the two energy pathways crisscross each other. And the beginning point is at the tailbone. That represents survival, fear, anxiety, security. And it meets at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. At the 5th level, it is inside the forehead. After they meet here at the eyebrow level. What is this? This is the center of the knowledge. What is the center of knowledge? Center of knowledge of right perception, right knowledge. So, what is right perception and right knowledge? It drops the impurities of the mind. And when the impurities of the mind are dropped, the mind further rises up. What is that rising up from here to the top? It is transcending the mind. In that state, we simply experience the meditative state. And there are thousands of practices in our hundreds of texts. So today we will do one practice, simple passive practice, that will help us to achieve that meditative state.